Hi, I'm Dan Polimino from KW Big Island and the Hawaii team. Well, as you can see behind me, it's another picture perfect, beautiful day here in Hawaii. And today we are continuing our series that we're doing on getting to know Dan. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen part 1 or part 2 of this series about getting to know me, but I'm telling my story here on the YouTube channel. You know, they told me when I went to Family Reunion, which is our annual convention, all of these speakers up on stage, they said, Dan, if people know you, trust you, and like you, then they will do business with you. And I thought, interesting. Well, but they don't know me. So maybe I should do a series of videos and people can get to know me. And so that's what we've been doing. And so again, if you haven't had a chance to watch part 1 or part 2, it's right here on this YouTube channel. Check it out. Today in part 3, we pick it up where we left off. I had just gotten into real estate in 2007. I know, what great timing, right? Just before the worst real estate crash in the history of the country. I get into real estate and I join a firm called Fuller Town & Country in Denver, Colorado. And my first day on the job, I walk into the office and a guy comes walking out of his office. I didn't know it at the time, but he was one of the owners of the firm and his name was Gary Lohrman. And he comes walking out with a big smile and a handshake and he said, "You must be Dan. I heard that you joined our firm. Come on in." And he invites me in and he just wanted to get to know me. And within the first probably 5 to 10 minutes, I realized real quickly why this guy had been so successful in real estate. He was beyond personable. Gary had a look like a grandfather that everybody loved, right? Everybody got along with Gary. We used to say that Gary would walk in the room and, start shaking hands and kissing babies. He was like a politician, except he wasn't. And everybody loved Gary, and he was so likable. Well, I realized early on that Gary had a lot to offer, and maybe I had something to offer. And so at one point, I asked Gary, shortly into my tenure there, if he'd like to team up and become a team. We kind of found each other at the perfect time in our lives. Gary had been 30 years in the business, and he was getting kind of tired and worn out, and I was young, and I was fresh, and I was excited, and I was energetic. And Gary used to call us the E&E team, experience and energy. He was experience and I was energy. And that's what I mean. We found each other and we both needed something at that time. Gary really needed a shot in the arm, somebody who had a lot of energy and ambition like me, someone who really knew marketing, who really knew digital marketing. And at the same time, I needed somebody who could teach me the ropes. I needed his experience. I needed everything that he had. More importantly, I needed his Rolodex, because Gary had been a luxury agent in Denver for a long time and did a lot of business. And so he could introduce me to a lot of people. And it was a marriage made in heaven. We were perfect for each other. Our personalities couldn't have been more different. We were totally polar opposites. I was fiery, this New York Italian, and he was German, but he was also from the East Coast, but he was very chilled and he was very mellow, and his temperament was perfect for me, and we got along fabulous. And it turned out just like we thought. We did a lot of business together, and for the first 5 years, we were at Fuller Town & Country, which later became Sotheby's. And then at the end of the 5 years, Keller Williams came calling, and they wanted Gary and I to come over and start the luxury division at the Keller Williams office in Denver at the DTC office. At the time, very large office, over 450 agents, and they wanted us to start their luxury division. And so a lady named Pam Kiker, who was the operating principal, and the team leader at the time, Tony Carnesi, recruited Gary and I over from Sotheby's, and we came over and started our career at Keller Williams. And I am forever grateful to Pam and Tony. I really put them through the ringer. Recruiting me was a real pain in the you-know-what. I think I told them no 4 or 5 times, but they kept at it and they were persistent, and I thank God every day that they were, because it changed my life. Not only did Gary and I come over to that office, but we also became owners. And we started our team in 2012, and it was called the Colorado Dream House Team, and we got right into production, and Keller Williams taught us everything we didn't know about putting together a team and doing a high volume of business. And we started getting right into it with about 10 transactions a month, 120 closings a year. And what I didn't realize is how valuable that experience was, right? I mean, doing that volume of transactions, 10, 12 closings a month, you're running into scenario after scenario after scenario. And there would be day after day that I would walk into Gary's office trying to ask him how to handle this. And that experience and what he taught me was absolutely invaluable. He also introduced me to the luxury market. And thank God he did, because I've had this amazing luxury business now for 17 years, and he taught me how to work with luxury clients and what they like and how to deal with really high-end transactions. And so I owe my entire career to Gary, and I tell him all the time, every time we see him. But 2 years into our start at Keller Williams, Gary and I went out and became investors in another office in San Diego. And so now we were investors in Denver, and we were investors in another Keller Williams office called KW San Diego Central. And so we were flying back and forth between Colorado and San Diego, trying to do business in 2 states. Our team was about a team of 8. There was about 4 of us in sales, and there was another 4 behind the scenes. And again, it was a wonderful time. And then Gary decided to hang it up and retire when he got to 40 years in the business. And he and I had been together for about 10 years at that point. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful time and a wonderful experience. And so Gary exits the partnership, and I'm running the ship on my own, again, traveling between Colorado and San Diego. And as 2019 approaches, some changes are happening in my life, and my wife and I have this conversation about moving to Hawaii full-time. And that's where we're going to leave it here on episode or part 3 of Getting to Know Dan. When we get to part 4, I'll tell you what exactly was the catalyst that moved us back to Hawaii. So you'll want to make sure you watch that. And if you love these videos, please hit the subscribe button right here. And if you like them and you want to get fresh ones, that's the way to do it. Or share these, please, with a friend. Or give me a call if we can help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate. 808-913-0899, 808-913-0899, or thehawaiiteam.com. Aloha.